A boy.
A series of eerie events had left Mary feeling deeply uneasy. She prayed constantly during the day, secretly vowing to uncover the secrets of the convent. One day, Mary finally found an opportunity. The convent was holding a baptism ceremony, and while everyone was in the hall, she quietly slipped into the archbishop's office. She searched all the drawers in the desk but found no clues. Suddenly, she noticed an old-fashioned key. Looking at the misaligned painting on the wall, Mary inserted the key into the hole in the center and turned it. To her surprise, it really opened a hidden door. Sure enough, this was the place where the archives were stored. Mary flipped through the old files and discovered that all the babies born here were born on June 6th at 6 o'clock. Even more bizarre, all the newborns were girls. She quickly found the file for Carita's birth month and prepared to leave, but the old nun had already discovered her. Mary hid in the room, ready to fight desperately, but she was outnumbered. The nuns pinned her to the ground. At that moment, Lisa discovered an eerie symbol of 3 sixes in her mouth. Shortly after, she was thrown into a cold, damp room where she could only curl up on a filthy little bed. Mary was surprised to find that she seemed to hear someone speaking. She quickly lifted the rug on the floor and was shocked to find a bizarre painting hidden underneath. Upon closer inspection, she saw that the painting depicted a woman being impregnated by a demon. Lisa couldn't believe it and was too frightened to look any further. Suddenly, a voice startled Mary, making her freeze in fear, and then a terrifying shadow emerged from the darkness. Just then, the door to the room burst open. It was the driver. Then, coming to rescue her, they quickly headed to Nathan's convent. It was only then that Mary realized Dan and Nathan knew each other all along. The three of them examined the records and compared the files, discovering with shock that every year on June 6th, a girl was born. The eerie part was that the photos of the newborns all showed horrifying monstrosities. Except for Carita, the others seemed to have died. Over the years, it was clear that the convent was trying to birth a boy as a demon's offspring. Just when the three were at a loss, Mary noticed something terrifying. The babies in the photos all had the mark of the devil on their heads. Mary suddenly remembered Paul's last words and the gestures he made before he died. It turned out that the convent's target had never been Carita, but her all along. That night, Mary had not spent a carefree evening with Paul, but a terrifying encounter with a demon. This June 6th, it was she who was destined to give birth. Realizing everything, Mary broke down in tears. Nathan hurriedly pushed aside her hair to look, and indeed, she had the same devil's mark. Nathan immediately tried to help Mary escape, but on their way out of town, a speeding car crashed into them, killing the driver instantly. As soon as Mary got out of the car, she fell into a frenzy, convulsing on the ground. A large amount of unknown fluid gushed from between her legs. She desperately tore at her clothes, and her belly swelled like a balloon. When Lisa regained consciousness, she was tied to a bed with the archbishop standing beside her. He softly reassured Mary not to worry. Then she was wheeled into the operating room. Mary lay on the bed, pleading for mercy, but no one responded. After a wave of excruciating pain, the doctor gave a sinister smile. For this time, Mary had given birth to twins. One of the twins was the long-awaited boy the convent had hoped for over the years. Everyone excitedly took turns touching his forehead, completely ignoring the weakened Mary on the operating table. Desperately, she called out for help, begging the archbishop to let her hold the child. Unexpectedly, when Mary finally held the baby, she looked at the archbishop and thrust the hidden scalpel into his neck. Immediately, Mary turned the scalpel towards the newborn baby, but the child's cries prevented her from going through with it. At that moment, an nun suddenly appeared and stabbed Mary in the abdomen. Having just given birth, she could no longer hold on and collapsed. Under the old nun's guidance, the demon's child was carried away in a celebratory procession. After everyone had left, Carita emerged and secretly took Mary and her remaining daughter away. A few years later, they were living a very happy life in the freezing north.